Thanks, Rex. Jim, I don't have a speech as dean to give at retirement parties like this. I suppose deans have a little, they just changed the name. Well, I'm glad I don't, because I would not have the opportunity to tell you how much it has meant to me personally to know you. Even though we haven't been the fastest of friends, we have been able to speak on the street, we've been able to speak in the halls. I've asked him how classes were going. He'd asked me back when I actually worked about that. We served on some committees together. I think maybe the policy committee, some of maybe we first got to know each other best in that fashion. I learned a lot from students, Judy. I'm glad to see you here. So I said, what is about this guy Pinkerton? You know, oh yeah, that quiet, nice man, compared to Rex Campbell. I always try to get Rex once when I get here. Of course, he'll get me later, I'm sure. But Jim was respected because he was a quiet man who went about his teaching in a very professional way. An earlier adapter of globalizing the classroom, I understand he had pictures he'd show he made all over Europe and things like that, bringing together the points he was trying to make in his sociology classes. So Jim, as I told you at the door, I was glad to be here. I may be joining you before long in these retirement parties. So one of the things that I learned early in going to, nobody really likes to hear you talk long, so I'm going to put that into me and say congratulations to both of you. I'm sorry I didn't know your wife very well, Mitch, but I know who you are now. And so I hope that you'll get to spend more time with those grandkids so you'll know exactly how many months old they are. Congratulations.
Bill, your wife just called cows are out on the highway again. Our next distinguished speaker is Michael Nolan, a social science unit leader. Mike, would you like to make a few comments?
Well, I got one word of advice: be brief. Jim and Mitch, I really do value the chance to come and say a few words this afternoon. In reflecting on this over the weekend and thinking about exactly what I would try to say, it's always, to me, an impossible task to sum up a 33-year career in about 3 minutes. I think one of the things I got to think about is how is it that a place like the University of Missouri Columbia really functions. We have a tendency here, I think, and last week was a perfect exemplar of this, to recognize and make a big deal out of what I would call the big splash. Last week was the $11 million Maze Genome Grant. And we do this at the expense, I think, frequently of not giving really adequate recognition to those folks who, without a lot of fanfare, quietly go about their job, working with students in a high quality professional manner. Today is really our chance, I think, as a group of your friends and colleagues, to one small opportunity for us to recognize you as someone who has quietly gone about his 30-plus years here at MU, rather quietly, but having left behind, I think, a really remarkable legacy, and we appreciate that. In my reflections, 2 words or phrases I think come to mind to describe Jim. First is an outstanding corporate or departmental citizen. Jim has had to make a number of adjustments since he came to MU. He's not doing now really much resembling what he was hired to do originally. A lot of people, lesser people, would have responded, I think, might have responded with bitterness or negativism about the changes he made. Jim's response was quite to the contrary. He plunged in and merely said what could he do to contribute to the new role in which he found himself. And you can't imagine what that means to department chairs like Rex and me. The second word I would say that describes Jim is versatile. This is a person who took over courses that others left behind, such as population ecology. Our host started and dropped and then is rediscovered, and made a success out of it. The bean counters amongst us, Dean Mitchell used to say, well, you're not fully employed unless you're generating 450 student credit hours a year. Well, this Jim Pinkham is a guy that consistently produced well over 500 student credit hours a year, year after year. He earned more than his keep. His research spanned both domestic and international topics. And the thing I think that really impresses me is that he actually taught urban sociology from a rural sociology department. That's not something very many rural social programs can claim. So today we pause to say thanks to Jim for a job well done, for being a good colleague, and for doing all those things that have made it possible for many others around you to have their chance at a big splash. And we certainly wish you a lot of similar splashes in the next chapter of your careers. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Mike, for those very gracious comments. Jim McCartney is the current chair of the Department of Sociology, and he asked if he could make a few comments. Jim.